is up, YouTube? It's Skill Up here with my weekly Should I Buy It? A look at what are the vendors selling, should you buy it, and if you do buy it, how do you mod it to get the most out of it? I do these videos every single week at this time, so if you like this sort of content, then drop it a like, and if you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe for end-to-end division coverage. Just an FYI, we're not going to be doing any modding advice this video because the modding is about to change. Patch 1.4 is going to bring very large changes to the way we mod our weapons, so I won't be doing any of that advice for now because it's going to become pretty useless pretty fast. With that, let's get stuck straight into the base of operations. Upstairs at the special equipment vendor, we have the Historian, which is the same as every week. It doesn't get any better in the new patch, so don't pick this one up. It's definitely not worth it. We have a hunting M44 with dominant, brutal, and commanding. This is not a particularly great talent roll on this one. I would definitely give this one a miss. We have a classic M44 Carbine, which actually is pretty damn good, to be honest. It's got 156% in headshot damage, which is a pretty decent roll. It's got ferocious, proficient, and provident. So proficient gives you a higher crit chance on the first bullet you fire out of combat, and provident gives your last bullet in your magazine 57% more total damage. Now, both of these talents synergize extremely well with an M44 because they actually have very small magazines indeed. And Ferocious is just an all-round really good PvE talent. So this is only a 204, but it's a pretty nice roll indeed, and I would recommend checking it out to see if it fits your build. Finally, we have our lightweight M4 with Vicious, Provident, and Deadly. You would absolutely roll Provident away on this one. The last bullet on a magazine dealing 56% bonus damage is pretty crappy on an automatic weapon. Roll that away and you've got yourself a fairly decent weapon. It's only 182, so if it's for those that are gearing up or those that are running Alpha Bridge, but hey, it's not bad at all. Lastly, I would just point out that this vendor is selling a Reckless chest. Now, it's only 204, however, Reckless is kind of a big deal. In the patch, it has been changed. Here, it's 13.5% bonus damage dealt and 10% taken. On patch 1.4, it becomes 8% damage dealt and 10% taken. So it switches it around, but because of the way that damage has been changed across the entirety of the patch, 8% bonus damage is now a very, very big deal. And this talent is now relatively way more powerful than it used to be for that reason. So if you don't have yourself a Reckless chest, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Even though it's a lower gear score, it could still be really fantastic in endgame builds. Downstairs at the special equipment vendor in the terminal, we have a first wave PF45 with Expert and Dominant. Nothing to see here. We've got a black market RPK74E. Now this weapon has actually received a slight buff in patch 1.4, which is a bit surprising because it was already really, really strong. It has Prepared, Deadly, and Capable, which are actually fantastic talents for this weapon. Prepared is getting changed in patch 1.4. It only requires 30 meters from the target to get the bonus damage out of it, which makes it a lot more realistic since 30 meters is actually where this weapon performs best. Deadly is still going to be excellent even though the talent is getting a nerf in patch 1.4, and Capable helps out with weapon handling, which is definitely a requirement given the fact that the RPK has a fair amount of kick on it. Yes, it's only a 204, but I tell you what, this is a very good talent roll on this weapon, so do give it a look. And finally, we have a double-barreled sawed-off shotgun. It's got Ferocious, Swift, and Self-Preserved. None of these talents synergize particularly well. Swift is a really crappy talent on this one, given the fact that it reloads fairly quickly already. Self-Preserved is not good, given the fact that it requires lots and lots of crits, whereas this thing obviously fires super slowly and doesn't really crit much. It seems like it would be really nice, but unfortunately it's a bit of a disappointment. Do give it a miss. At the special blueprints vendor this week, his big ticket items are the black market AK-74 blueprint. However, it's only 204. I'd probably recommend giving that one a miss, given the fact that we're going to be getting 229 blueprints come patch 1.4. We have a stamina vest blueprint, which is of course 204, but if you're looking for a Reckless chest, this could be one way to get it. And finally, the performance gear mod blueprint is on sale. It's 460 Phoenix credits. It's very worthwhile as a purchase, given the fact that performance mods are going to be a huge part of the way we gear up in patch 1.4, so do pick that one up if you don't already have it. Downstairs in the underground this week, we have a G36 enhanced with Prepared, Responsive, and Focused. This is a bit of a troll. prepared requires you to be at range. Responsive requires you to be up close. Both of these don't really work when they're on the same weapon at the same time. So this one, sadly, is not worth picking up. We have a PP19, however, which is really excellent. It's got destructive, self-preserved, and hurried. All three of these talents are first class for this weapon. It's only a 204, but it's really, really good. If you don't have anything better, I would definitely recommend picking it up. At 38% critical hit damage as well, it's not a bad roll there. We have an X45 with expert and intense. Probably would recommend giving that one a miss. And finally, a G36C with responsive, balanced, and focused. Again, not ideal. You're not really going to be using your assault rifle that close, so responsive doesn't really work. Balanced is really not great on an assault rifle. You really want to be using it on a marksman rifle, if anything. And focused is, generally speaking, not a great talent. I like to roll that one away, since it's better to be using your abilities than not. So let's go see if the Darkzone has anything better for us. At the DZ3 vendor this week, we have an M249 Bravo with Determined, Restored, and Self-Preserved. Restored is actually getting removed from the game, or at least it won't roll on new weapons. It will just sit there on your old weapons. The reason is it's not a good talent at all. The developers have said that they don't want it appearing on new weapons, but they're not removing it from any of the old ones. For that reason alone, I'd recommend giving this one a miss. There's a first wave X45 here with Expert and Fierce. Not a bad roll at all. If you're looking for a decent pistol, then this is a pretty good one. We've got a classic M1A with Steady, Meticulous, and Commanding. Now, Steady is also another talent that is being removed from the game. It will not appear on any new weapons in patch 1.4. The rest of these talents, though, really don't work for this weapon type. I would very much recommend giving this one a miss. However, this first wave M1A is a really, really nice roll. It's got Skilled, it's got Fierce, it's got Dominance. Skilled reduces your skill cooldowns significantly. You really only need to kill about 5 or 6 targets with headshots in order to be able to get your signature skill back. And given how much more important signature skills will be in patch 1.4, this is a very powerful talent indeed. Fierce is just fierce. It's a very strong talent overall. And Dominant, you could easily roll that away to get a free talent in that bottom slot that works for you. So this is a really, really nice M1A. Yes, M1As have been nerfed in the patch Something Fierce, no doubt about that, but they're still a viable weapon, and if they're your flavor, I would recommend giving this one a look. And finally, the 229 weapon this week is a military P416 with Stable, Destructive, and Unforgiving. Stable is yet another talent that is being removed from the game. It basically did almost nothing, so the developers, instead of trying to fix it, have said, let's get rid of it, mainly because they want to make weapons harder to handle, so they didn't want to make a talent that made your weapon significantly easier to handle. Destructive, obviously a great talent, and Unforgiving, you could roll that one away. It's not a particularly great assault rifle. I would give this one a miss. In terms of blueprints, we've got a first wave M1A and a black market RPK-74. Both are really great weapons. However, 204 on those. Would recommend holding off until patch 1.4. Alright, so for like the first time ever, this vendor right here is selling something really, really good. Check it out. Prototype Performance Mod, Skill Haste, Smart Cover, Damage, Resilience. This is a big deal. The fact is, we are going to be really struggling to get our hands on ideal performance mods in the future, and this right here is an ideal performance mod. Anyone that's looking to run a sort of skill power focused build, someone that's looking to buff other players, that really wants to rely on smart cover, this is excellent, like a really fantastic performance mod roll, and I would very strongly recommend picking up 4 of these so you could pack them into your gear and really maximize the uptime and the effectiveness of your smart cover. Next up, there's also this bad boy, which is very similar, except it's pulse critical hit damage. So with these, you could stack an additional 16% pulse critical hit damage, as well as 12% skill haste. Really helpful for those planning on focusing on using pulse and using it regularly. So don't sleep on these. These are great performance mods. I very much recommend picking them up. And as for the blueprints this week, they're selling the firearms gear mod and the electronics gear mod. You can pick them up if you need them. And finally, just as a word of caution, this guy is selling a whole bunch of stuff, but all of this gets re-rolled come patch 1.4. So the stats you see here, like accuracy and critical hit damage, aren't going to be that when patch 1.4 goes live. This is all changing. So my advice, don't buy anything, as you don't know how it's going to end up when patch 1.4 finally arrives. And that's it, guys. That's Should I Buy It for the week. Patch 1.4 has to be getting close, and when that happens, the whole Should I Buy It thing has to change, because there are going to be a ton of vendors that are all selling useful stuff. I'm going to have to think about how to cover that. In the meantime, though, if you like this video, drop it a like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now for end-to-end division coverage. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Take good care, and I'll see you in patch 1.4. Bye-bye.